Hey guys, Sam Crowley, welcome. We're a little early, so I appreciate everybody who's here already for the Lunch and Learn. Going to learn about webinars, super simple ways to share a webinar. So I'm going to jump back on in about 4 minutes or so. I'm just going to step away. So make yourself at home, your virtual home, grab a water, coffee, wherever you are, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, everyone. Hey, it's Sam Crowley. Welcome back. It's great to have you on this Tuesday, getting ready to hit noon Eastern time. and quite a few people filling up here. Hey, give us a sense of, I see some names. Where are you from? Where's everybody from today? Where are you plugging in from? I know we probably have some people from the UK, down under. UK would be around dinner time tonight. West Coast in the morning here. East Coast just around noon. Where's everybody from here? Give us a sense of where the message is going out to today. If not, I'll throw you off the webinar. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. John from Michigan. Welcome, John. Linda from beautiful Telluride, Colorado, Minnesota. Welcome. All right. All right. Well, we certainly got the Midwest wrapped up today. That's for sure. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute here. Talk about webinars, what you're looking at right now, how you can do these on your own. And look, this really is kind of a lunch and learn. I got very few slides. I'm going to be typing and showing you websites and things like that. I don't know if you're kind of used to these sanitized webinars where you jump on and there's 100 PowerPoint slides and then there's the big sale at the end. I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm more interested in literally what I said in the email, just showing you how to do this thing so you can do it yourself. So that sounds cool, then you're in the right spot. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. And as I take you through the webinar, hey, Jesse, I think I know Jesse from Detroit. Welcome, brother. Good to have you. As I take you through this webinar, I'm going to also take you through some of the psychology behind the slides. This isn't my usual webinar where there really are a lot of slides if I'm doing a full-blown webinar, but I'm not here to go through that entire presentation because I want to show you what's going on while you're looking at the screen. So some people, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'll share some slides about who I am, what I do, if you're not familiar with the Everyday Saturday Message and things like that. But I mainly coach speakers, consultants, thought leaders, okay, and internet marketers, but in a very simplistic approach. This stuff can get super complicated. Donna from Colorado, welcome. Great to have you. This stuff can get super complicated. Let me just ask for the people who are, and I know we're going to have people joining us throughout the course of the next few minutes here, but what, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning you don't really know hardly anything about hosting a webinar, and I'm not going to share your name, so you can just put it in there. 1 through 10. 1 is pretty much beginner status. 10 is you're a rock star and you could teach this stuff yourself. Where are you right now in your ability of hosting webinars? So I can teach to the right crowd here. All right, 1, 4, beginner, 4, 6, okay. All right, so if you're 3, okay, that's good, because you're gonna learn a lot. Regardless, even if you know a lot about webinars and you've hosted a good amount your own, yourself rather, you'll probably learn some tips and tricks from today's as far as the tech side, how to share it, things like that. We'll talk a little bit about selling because I do have in there how to share your message and make money. With that. So let me dive into the presentation and see which slides I actually have here. Today you're going to learn how to structure a winning message. I'm going to show you the tech side of webinars, but we're just going to keep it simple. All right, real simple. You don't need a lot of tech knowledge to do a webinar. All right? You just don't. I don't know if that's a lot of people. I think that's the case because it seems to be a barrier to entry for a lot of people that I can't really get going because I don't have a lot of tech knowledge. Well, you don't. I'm going to show you how to work through that today. Selling on a webinar. The key to selling on a webinar, let me just hit this straight up, is delivering great content. You know, whether you speak from stage or you speak on a webinar, it's really it's a lot of the same concepts in the sense that you've probably been on a lot of webinar where you feel like, hey, it was kind of a meatless webinar. Wasn't a lot of chicken on the bone there. It felt like I was being sold the second I got on that thing. So you want to deliver some really great content. And I just started typing on a document here I'm going to share with you in a minute about what really makes a great webinar structure, okay? And I'm going to show you that document. I started putting it together right here, all right? Typed it into a doc. We're going to go over this in just a second, okay? And please fire your questions. If you're on the live webinar, the benefit of being on the live one is you can ask me questions and you'll get them answered right now, okay? So if some questions come up where there's a natural break in the action, I'll answer them. And then deliver the replay. You know, a lot of people can't make it. We might have had 70 people or so register for this webinar. I know I didn't give a lot of notice. So we probably have 70 people registered, might have 20 on here or so. The remaining people couldn't make it for whatever reason. Life gets in the way. A lot of people just register for webinars. You'll find this as well. Some people literally are professional webinar registrants. They never attend. But I think the the most of the people that don't attend, they're looking for the replay, and I'll show you how to deliver that fast, easy, and without any effort at all. Okay, a lot of this is going to be without any effort at all. The only effort is you getting out of your own head that you can deliver a winning message and that you can actually sell on a webinar. That's really the hardest part. If you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a bonus. If you attend my webinars, I like to give away a bonus, and I love this one. If you've already received this bonus in the past, that's great. But there's a download link I'm going to share with you about how to access the top 10 deathbed regrets. It's a 2-hour audio, super powerful audio that I recorded. And, you know, I'm all about purpose and significance. I'm not really, I know we need money to pay the bills. I get that. I receive that. I understand that. But I'm really more about living life on purpose. Our family's been through an incredible journey the past 4 years, and it's really opened my eyes to what's important in life and the passion and the purpose to which I really approach everything, including this right now. So there's a lot of regrets people have at the end of their life. And those of you that have been around at the end of life for people, you understand they rarely call for any ATM receipts or checking accounts or money. They call for the people that they love the most and the memories that they've shared with. And I want to share with you the top 10 deathbed regrets and how to avoid them in life. And that's at the end of this, if you stick around, okay? Does this sound like you? Every day seems like Groundhog Day. You keep reliving yesterday. You're chasing that next greatest idea, the next guru, only to find yourself even more confused. Your loved ones look at you and ask, hey, can we do, and then just fill in the blank, and you got to say, no, not really. I share this slide, and if you've been on my past webinars, there's a few slides I like to share over and over again, because a lot of the times we'll catch something that we didn't catch the previous time. And sometimes we just need to be told something over and over and over again before it sinks in. And this whole Groundhog Day concept hits a lot of people. We just keep reliving yesterday. It's like we live the same day 85 years in a row, rather than living different days every single day. And we chase ideas and shiny objects, and we're just confused. And then we're frustrated after we get confused. So I like to share some of these slides. Like I said, if you've been on past webinars, you'll see these as staples in my presentation, because we need to be told this and learn this over and over again. You look at a super successful thought leader and you say, I can do that on a webinar, for example. Hey, I can do that, but why am I not doing that? Well, we'll take care of that today. You remember when you had a passion, you had a purpose, and you want to recapture all of that, and you want to start right now. And you envision writing a huge check to your favorite cause or charity and the incredible feeling that that gives you. So if that sounds like you, we're in the right spot together. I love this quote by Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. And so with what you're going to learn today, you know you can do the replay of this, send that out, put this on Facebook, you can put the link on Twitter, you can put it on your YouTube channel, you can put it on all your social media, you can put snippets of it on Instagram and drive traffic back to the webinar. That's 24/7 automation that once you set it up, it's good to go. And it's good to go. It's never going to go away until you decide to take it down. All right. If you had one way and you wanted to be authentic and free, you didn't have to chase opportunities because they're constantly chasing you. You could charge higher prices. You can see the money getting paid and you getting paid and coming in like clockwork. This is what this concept and everything that I teach is about, okay? Charging more for what it is that you do. Literally just raising the prices so you get better people in, because when you start gaining clarity on who it is you're talking to, and guys, this has to do with webinars as well. So many people design a presentation and they forget who they're talking to. It's like, you got to be really crystal clear on who you're speaking to, and don't apologize for your prices. You got to lead with your authenticity. You lead with your prices, because when you find the right person, you can never say the wrong thing to the right audience. Hopefully that makes sense. And so a lot of people are trying to do this big race to the bottom when it comes to pricing themselves. And they're, like I said, I work with coaches, I work with consultants, I work with speakers, I work with thought leaders and people who deliver markets online and offline. And I'm shocked again and again how they want to keep undercutting their price. They should be going the other way with it. Charge more than your competitors. Separate yourself and don't go the other way. Don't do the whole race to the bottom thing, because if you do that, you're just, it's a perpetual just going right down the drain, man. I hate to see people, because what that's really saying is that they don't believe enough in themselves to charge more than their competition. You should be charging more than your competition, because you should be delivering more. And you know, the biggest way to deliver more than the competition is to be authentic, because when you're authentic, you're free. You never got to apologize. You never got to think, well, geez, what did I say on that one slide, or what did I tell that person that I would do for them? When you are who you are and you stand on who you are, you never got to apologize. And it's so free to be that. So be free, be authentic, okay? And charge more. Start charging more for what you do. You've earned it, all right? You can earn income and be successful just by being you, all right? Question, would you like to build a movement and make lots of money along the way? I'm assuming, and I'm just spitballing here, I'm just guessing that answer is yes from people that are attending this, okay? So, great. We have a yes. We have one person who said yes. Let's take a look here. I started typing this out. Donna says yes. All right. And I want to go through this with you. This is a webinar structure, okay? And let me just get rid of this view over here. And I want to focus on this. This is going to be our learning document from today, okay? And I wrote all this out right before we got going. It's not supposed to be pretty and perfect, okay? It's supposed to be something that we learn from. And let me just get to view here. Full screen. See if we can do that for a minute, okay? Cool. All right, guys, who are you? That's the first thing that you got to determine. When I'll get to the tech part of the webinar. I'll show you how to deliver it. I use GoToWebinar right now. You're using GoToWebinar to view this. All right, but I want to talk about the structure. So we'll talk about tech after you learn why you're even doing a webinar. Hey, we got a big absolutely from Jesse in all caps. That's great. That's good to know that 3 people want to make a lot of money with webinars. Let's take a look. Guys, when you're talking about teaching, the most important and the least important component, and it's really wild, is you, okay? For the first 5 to 10 minutes, people are going to determine whether or not they want to even buy from you in the first 5 or 10 minutes. So you got to be who you are. That's why it's even more authentic to be who you are, okay? It's even more important to be authentic, because when you're like that right out of the gate, studies show within the first 5 to 7 minutes on these types of programs, webinars, speaking from stage, people make the decision whether they like you and whether they trust you. And then from there, it's just you deliver great content and they're going to buy from you. All right. So if we're looking at a webinar right now, let's say I'm just going to put percentages here. Okay. I'm going to say the first 10% of the webinar is about you, who you are, where you come from, what you do. This is an opportunity for you to brag about yourself, which is fine. Look, you need to show that you've earned the right to show people what to do and to teach this topic. Okay. So spend 10% of your webinar talking about yourself, your accomplishments, and where you've been. Okay. The next component is, so this is number 1 in your structure of setting it up. Number 2 is, what are they going to learn today? Tell them what they're going to learn today. Okay. And then be specific. So why is it important for them to take advantage of this information right now? Why is timing important? For example, you're learning about webinars today because everybody in the marketplace is doing webinars. And the only thing standing between you jumping into that and getting yours out there is your knowledge. All right. And there might be a little bit of fear in there, and that's real. I'm not taking away from there. But basically, if I had to guess, it'd say probably knowledge, maybe a little bit of procrastination in there. Like you really should. You know how to do them. You should just be doing them more. Let me back out of this screen because I want to share with you. Let me get back out of here. View. Hit escape. Cool. Let me show you what I show people on the same exact template. So I just showed you the first couple of components. Discovering the secret. I had no money, no website, no product, no influence, no support from family and friends. Why do I show this slide to people? Because there's a photo of me speaking in a large group of people, and there's this counterintuitive text to the right of it that says, discovering the secret, what I had to do, and I launched this Every Day is Saturday movement. So I've brought myself all the way down. Like you could, if you have $5 in your wallet right now, you have more money than I have when I started this whole everydayissaturday.com with no money, no website, no products, no influence, no support from friends. So when you're doing your webinar, humble yourself, take yourself back to the beginning, and you must be able to tell a story. You got to tell a story. And how does a story begin? A story begins once upon a time. That's how it begins. So this is when I share my presentation from the platform, and when I talk on webinars, this is the slide that I share with people. Once upon a time, I had none of these, and yet somehow managed to overcome that. And that's what I'm going to teach you today, the process of overcoming that, launching your own movement, building a message, and learning how to tell a story. Okay, learning how to tell a story. when I coach people, and again, I'm only going to go back. The only thing I teach is the stuff that I know. I don't teach on theory. I don't teach on things I've heard or read. I only teach on my own experience. And my experience of teaching speakers, trainers, seminar leaders, and marketers is that very few of them know how to tell a story. And that's not a shot. That's just a fact. Because stories, think about when you were a kid, when you were like 5 years old and your mom and dad or your grandparents would read you a story and you wanted them to turn the page. Like, turn the page, let's see what's going on in the next page. People can't tell a compelling enough story online or offline now to where the other people want them to turn the page. Like, they will stay on the webinar longer if you can compel them to stay interested in the story. So if you want to develop a great skill, it is that. Learn how to tell your story and learn how to tell a story in a really compelling way so people will follow along. This is my story. Those are my 4 girls right there. That's Paige, Madeline, Laura. That's our little miracle, Susan. She was born at 24 weeks, 4 years ago this summer in 2014. My wife delivered Susan at 24 weeks, given very little chance to live. Okay, so quite honestly, she shouldn't have lived just past a couple of hours. That's Angela holding her, a couple of days old there. She was on a ventilator. She got trached, so she had a trach for a couple of years. And if you look closely, I don't know if you can see, you can still see she just had her trach moved last September where the mark was left right there. So this is my story. It's what I do. It's why I do what I do. It's why I work from home. It's why I don't go to a job every day, because my daughter Madeline used to ask way many years ago, Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? And I told her someday soon, every day will be Saturday. And so that's kind of how I launched the brand. I just now wanted to position myself as the everyman who's out there doing it, the crash test dummy for entrepreneurs, teaching what I'm learning, sharing what I'm learning, and inspiring other people to go for their dreams. So I'm not quite sure why you're here today from the sense of what compelled you to be on this webinar, but I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe we're just here by happenstance, you and I connecting today. And I think you're here to learn something incredibly powerful. And if you stick around, I believe that's going to happen, because I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing for those girls you see and my wife right there on the slide. I don't know why you're doing what you're doing specifically, but you need to have this slide in your presentation about why you're doing what you're doing, because then people get to know you on that authentic level that very few people are willing to be vulnerable about. Okay, let me just stop right here. Does this make sense so far? 15 minutes into this training, does any of this make sense? Yes or no? Any questions, anything, but let me know if this psychology, and do you get what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Melissa, Jesse, John, Camilo. Yes, it makes sense. Linda, yes, and get it. Okay. Cool. Got it. All right. So it's very important for you to have this type of component of your presentation about why you're doing what you're doing. All right. So I'm going to be going back and forth from that document to the slides, from the document to the slides. What if you don't have a sad story? Well, you don't need a sad story. This isn't about sad. This is a story about what you're going to teach. So if you're teaching how to repair radiators, there's not a sad story unless maybe your radiator broke when you were 15 and you learned how to fix it by yourself. I mean, there's a reason why you're helping people. I'm helping people because I want to create a lifetime of Saturdays for other people. I want to show them how to do it, because my daughter used to ask me, Daddy, is tomorrow Saturday? And I just happened to have a daughter born at 24 weeks. I was sharing this message prior to 4 years ago. So before to the story becoming super sad 4 years ago and then having the miracle happen, I was still sharing this. So it's not about sharing a sad story. It's about sharing why you're doing what you're doing. What was that? Let me go back to this document for a second and ask this question. I wrote this in here, okay? Where was your big break? Okay, the process of finding a solution. I'm gonna hit all adversity you overcome. We're gonna touch on all of these, but this is how you frame your winning message. Okay, so stay with me for just a second. Okay, and I'm gonna get back to this, but it doesn't have to be sad, but there has to be a reason why you. Vin, I don't know. It's typed VN. Is it Vin? Share with me what you do. What is it that you want to teach? Because that will help me help you. Type it in what your area of expertise is, or what you want to help others do, and I'll share with you how to frame that story. Why you should listen to me. I'm interviewed pretty regularly on television, radio, and online. I have a podcast as well, all around the topic of going through massive transition and how to share your message. Okay. So yeah, I would consider myself a thought leader in this space. I'm not saying I'm the greatest person out there. I am saying that I've found a niche in the marketplace over the past 13 years where there is a tremendous pain of individuals who feel as though they're not living their purpose. They're not living life on purpose and they are stuck. Okay. So that's what I do, all right? And that's why you should listen to me. I'm the founder of Every Day is Saturday, the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes, over 10 million downloads in over 100 countries. Speaker, author, trainer, seminar leader, shared the stage with a who's who of famous speakers, hosting webinars since 2009. So I'm going on 9 years of doing exactly what you're looking at right now. And I've actually sold over 7 figures using this exact platform that I'm going to share with you. So again, when you're doing your webinar, you see this slide, why should people listen to you? What accomplishments do you have? And even if you don't have over 10 million downloads or you haven't made $1 million online selling webinars, what have you done that, remember guys, learn this concept. Stay one trick ahead of the dog, okay? Stay one trick ahead of the dog. So you don't need to know how to get people to solve all their life problems. You need to know how to get them from point A to point B. Okay, so that's your main thing that you need to focus on. Okay, there's the individuals that I actually have shared the stage with. They may look familiar to you: Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, and a whole host of others. I really feel when I see a slide like this that I actually got to pinch myself, that this is what my life turned into. I've written 3 books: How to Sell from Stage, No More Work Days, The Journey to Making Every Day Saturday, and the book about my daughter Susan's journey and how we made that through that as well, called One More Breath, a story of hope, inspiration for those who feel they have none. So aside from speaking and doing webinars, I also like to write books. And you know what's better than all of that? What's better than speaking? Webinars, okay? Webinars, you know why? Here's why. Because there's no travel, there's no airfare, hotel, meals, expenses. You don't have to try to fill a room, which is incredibly difficult to do. You don't have to split money with a promoter. If you speak on someone else's stage, you're going to take at the most 50-50, more likely 60-40, and you're going to get the 40. And that's after running through merchant accounts and all that good stuff, refunds. Attendees can view from their own home or office, just like you are right now. You're sitting in front of a computer watching this webinar, okay? And the replay is available to everybody who wasn't able to make it live, which you can't do any of this when you speak at a live event. So why do I do more webinars now than ever? Because of those 6 reasons right there. Mainly the travel and being away from my family. I have 4 children, ages 17, 13, 12, and 3. So it's important for me to be at home and help my wife and be there for my children. I didn't become an entrepreneur to be an absentee father. So the older I get, I turned 50 last month, the less time I want to spend traveling and the more time I want to spend around the family. So that's why I do what I do. And that's why I think if you really get this webinar part, you're going to feel like, wow, I can do all of this right from the comfort of my own home. Okay. Well, Winifred, what if you're still trying to find that story? Where to go from there? Well, Winifred has a great question. Thank you for asking that. The story. The story is everything. The story is incredibly powerful. The story needs to come from your experience, Winifred. It could be, what have you been doing the last 5 years? What have you been doing the last 10 years, the last 15 years? That is where, when I work with individuals one-on-one, we spend 90 minutes, myself and our project manager, Samantha Kaplan, we spend 90 minutes on the phone with the client up front on our project kickoff call, just doing this exercise, answering that one question. What is your story? That's it. Because until you get to that, and it's what's called your USP, your unique selling proposition, you are not able to differentiate yourself from all the other people swimming around in that sea of sameness. So yeah, identifying what your story, that's something where you got to get a blank sheet of paper and you got to start taking inventory about what you've done, where you've been. And look, Winifred, it could be something as simple, because a lot of people have the same question. Well, I don't know my story. I'm not quite sure hey, welcome to the club, man. I was at an event with 15,000 people in May. Tony Robbins was there. Gary Vaynerchuk was there. Robert, what's his name, from Shark Tank was there. And 15,000 people, I would guess, and I'm not exaggerating, I would guess 90% of the people there, when asked if they knew what their story was, what they could not answer. Like, what do you do? That was a question. What do you do? Most people can't answer that question. What do you do? Well, that's what I do. Like, that's what I do. I help people frame their story and share that message and get very crystal clear on what exactly that is. So Winifred, what I would recommend to do is to get out a blank piece of paper, get in a real quiet space, got to play some jazz music or something, and just start writing down. You could be an encourager, an inspirer, a motivator. You could be a speaker. You could be someone who teaches others how to garden, mow their lawn, do drywall work, hang picture frames. And there is no wrong answer, but it's got to be something that you will not settle for anything else other than talking about that, because this is the one shot you get to say, all right, this is my blank sheet of paper. I want to teach on this topic. Because keep in mind, it's already been done by somebody else, so there's already a path for success. Success leaves clues. All you need to do is plug in your unique experiences in there. People want to learn from you. They don't want to learn from somebody else. They'd rather learn from you because of the way you deliver it. Okay, how many of you got on this webinar because it was titled Super Simple Ways to Learn? Okay, that right there is different than most. Super simple. So far, I haven't taught anything that's complicated. Nothing. So Winifred, I hope that helps just a little bit. And I'll give you an opportunity if you want to stick around to the end. I'd be more than happy we can jump on a call and I can help you with that story as well. Hunting down priests. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. I got it. Phony priest. Well, that's definitely a different one, unique area, Vin. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. All right, Vin. That's something where if you didn't come from someplace sad, that's a compelling background, put it that way. There's an incredible story around that. I grew up in the Catholic Diocese of Erie, Pennsylvania. So yes, I know that. And I think that's a very compelling story around there. Inspire people to lose weight permanently, Nanette. Okay, Nanette, you're close. You're close. You want to inspire people to lose weight permanently, but why? What are the benefits to that? And what's your story around that? I'm guessing you probably have lost weight. And how did that benefit you? What did that give you? Okay. Did it give you more time on earth? Did it give you an opportunity with your kids or your grandkids or your brothers and sisters or friends and people like that, that now you don't have to take all these pills? Did it give you more money saving on prescription? What did that do? Jesse, grow your faith as you grow your business. I'm building my business by helping kingdom business leaders convert their experiences into a published book. I'm building my business by helping kingdom business leaders convert their experience. But why do they want a book? There's got to be the benefit tied to the book. That's good. You're close. I've written a book that's on Amazon and I'm certified experience coach. Okay. See, all of these guys are great. Okay. They're great because you are in the right zip code. All right. You might not be at the right address right now relative to tying the benefit to what it is that you do, but at least you're in the right zip code. Now it's just a matter of tweaking the message. Okay. I teach people how to predict the buying behavior of their client in less than 90 seconds. Got it. Thank you. Happy belated birthday. I appreciate that. All right, guys. So I just want to make sure this made sense so far, okay, that you're starting to get the psychology and why you want to do webinars, okay? Let me get back to the document here. Whoops. This was an exercise I took people through about $100,000. If you guys want to see that, I'll share it with you how easy it is to make $100,000 a year. All right. Let's see. So what are they going to learn? And then step 3, why is it important for them to take advantage of this information right now? Why right now? Why? Well, I mean, I don't need to buy on the webinar, right? I mean, or I don't need to, if your call to action is to maybe jump on the phone with you or something like that. Why is it important I do it right now? Because there's got to be some sort of, not fake scarcity, there's got to be a real reason why, okay? And number 4, this is the next step. What's the pain point in the marketplace right now? Example, most people exchange hours for dollars, buying things they can't afford with money they don't have to impress people they don't even like. There's a better way. That's a pain point in the marketplace. Rescuing people from the day-to-day chained to a cubicle or a desk and just spending an hour each way going to work, never seeing the people they love, missing the dance recitals, the football games, the soccer games, the dinners, the lunch, all of that stuff. That's the pain point in the marketplace right now that you can solve if this was, example, your perfect avatar. And you need to answer this question for the webinar that you're doing as well. This is it. What's the pain point that you're addressing? All right. And if they stay to the end, give them a bonus, like the bonus, the audio download that I have for everybody on the webinar today. That's a real bonus. I mean, it's something that it's not available on my website or anyplace else. It's a 2-hour audio. Do the same thing, even if it's just a special report, even if it's an opportunity for them to book a call with you. How about that for a really good idea? Book a call or something along those lines, or give them a couple of videos that you have on YouTube unlisted that nobody else can see. Make it feel like a real bonus though. Don't be like most people where it's available anyway, they can get it for free on your website, So that would be that. And then learn how to frame a winning message. Okay. This is what we were talking about earlier, is the difference between a message and a winning message is that ability to, and I'm just going to keep sharing this, guys, tell a story. This is the most critical component of any speaker, trainer, or seminar leader, is their ability to tell a story. That is how you frame the winning message, okay? And so when you talk about that and you share the story, talk about what life was like before you made this decision to be this thought leader that you were, to be this provider that you are. Whatever service. I go back to mowing lawns as an example, okay? If I was a professional lawn care person, I would be in the direct mail business in everybody's mailbox. I would be doing a podcast to separate myself and be giving away lawn care tips to people. And I would let people know, before I learned about how to care for a lawn, I was spending all this time watering it, reseeding, aerating it. It looked brown. I was always that guy in the neighborhood, the 17 houses in the cul-de-sac, and mine was the only one with the brown lawn. And I kept pumping money and time, and it became so frustrating. So I took it upon myself. Instead of paying somebody else, I figured out how to have the most green, lush lawn and have the actual grass eat the weeds, as opposed to the opposite. You guys starting to get excited about lawn care like I am? I'm not even in lawn care, but I get fired up, man. So, it's just, it could be anything, but you got to get excited about this. What was life like before you made the decision to step out and do this thing you're doing right now? So that was the grind. That was the struggle. What was the struggle like before you started? And then the adversity that you were able to overcome. Okay. Align this with your avatar. The avatar is the individual who you are targeting in this marketing. Okay. For me, it's the 29 to 68-year-old male or female, have tried a business once or twice before, have interested in becoming an entrepreneur, want to be free. It could be Gen Xers, baby boomers. They probably have owned a home in the past and have a couple of kids and a car. They can afford a $4 cup of coffee. These are all things and characteristics and traits of your perfect avatar. And when I launched my podcast, the Everyday is Saturday podcast, I still have that show on iTunes. Oh, by the way, this is selfishly, this is what I was listening to right before I started, Elevation Church, Pastor Stephen Furtick. So those of you who want to see what's on my playlist, great sermon about choosing your chains for those of you that are interested. This is my podcast. It's the number one referral of business for me. Okay. And it's because I've been doing it over and over and over again for the past 13 years. It's the longest running motivational podcast on iTunes. Okay. But my avatar, when I first started podcasting, I found out that 95% of Americans commute to work and it takes 30 minutes or less. Okay. So think about that. This is some of the research I did before I started podcasting. And so I thought, well, geez, I'm going to keep a podcast less than 30 minutes because my target market is that stressed out corporate slave who's going to work every single day. So I'm not going to make my show 45 minutes or an hour or anything like that. So you can see all of my shows are between, I don't know, maybe between 10 15, 20, 30 minutes, not even 30, 10 to 12 minutes, I'd say. Some of them are 19. I go a little bit longer there. Anyway, why did I show you this? Because my target market, I did a lot of research on my avatar. That's why you see 616 reviews and all the ratings and things like that. And that's why I drive business to my Everyday Saturday brand, is because you're going to do the same thing. Once you get crystal clear, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. Just get clear on what your message is and who your market is. It's very important. This is all the sharpening of the axe stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody really wants to do. They just want to go out there and let it rip. And I'm a speaker and I'm on stage. You know, the worst thing you can do as a speaker is get invited to a conference to speak with a lot of people and you not know what your message is. That because what's going to happen, you're going to bomb. And I saw it. I saw a guy get the hook one time on stage, 1,500 people. And he was supposed to be done in 90 minutes. And in the speaker industry, when you sign agreements, this is just kind of a behind the scenes thing. You pay $1,000 a minute for every minute you go over. A lot of promoters put that in their agreement. Now, this one promoter was $1,000 a minute. Maybe some other people are 500 a minute. This guy could not even, I only think it was halfway through his presentation after 90 minutes, got the hook. They literally threw him off stage. And so he lost a lot of money because he didn't make any by selling and blah, 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 had to pay his own airfare and hotel. The thing about that, what didn't he have? He didn't have a winning message. He didn't even know what his message was. He wasn't able to tell a story. So once you get good at this stuff, now it's just, you only got to create this presentation one time, okay? You only got to create this presentation one time. I'm using PowerPoint. You can see these slides here. These are PowerPoint slides. You can use Keynote. Doesn't matter, okay? So whatever it is that you want to use, go ahead. And whoops, go back here. Switching back and forth. Any questions so far? Any questions? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let me get back to Microsoft Pages here. I keep using that outline there. Here we go. What was life like before you made a decision? Adversity, the process of finding the solution. This is key. What was the process? I keep teasing at 100K. I'm not doing that on purpose, by the way. Jesse, I definitely show that. I'm only doing it because I keep hitting the pages icon and it keeps popping back up. I'll show you that. The process of finding a solution. So let me give you an example. In 2009, I launched a course called 6 Days of Saturday, and it was a course where I chronicled every part of the process of going from being bankrupt, going through a job, leaving the job, and going and launching my entrepreneurial dream. I never told anybody I was a millionaire, didn't have photos of a house in Malibu or a Lamborghini or anything like that. I just categorized the process. Guys, this is gold right here, okay? Make a note to yourself, the process. Document the process. You want to make a lot of money? You don't need to be rich. And I'm not saying you got to be phony, and I'm not saying you fake it till you make it, because that's not legit. That's not authentic, okay? That you'll never get by. You'll never sleep well at night faking it till you make it. You'll never sleep well at night hoodwinking other people. If people don't buy from you for who you are, that's just not a good fit. You don't need to lie. You don't need to scam. You don't need to go tell them something's going to happen when it's not. You don't need to guarantee anything. You be you and let everything else take care of the rest, because you were built and created in greatness. You don't have to apologize for anything that you got going on. You just need to embrace the process and then share that process. Document it. Does everybody understand? Yes, document the process. Everybody get that? That's key to having a winning presentation, not only for PowerPoint, not only in a webinar. I just mean when you're selling anything. People want to know the process. People don't, look, if I came on here and showed you a photo of a Corvette and me, with my six-pack abs, I don't have six-pack abs, but I'm just saying, if I had that photo, you wouldn't want that, man. That's not, you can get that anywhere. You want someone who's showing you the process of what it is, So your process is amazing. It's amazing. You know why? Because it's your process. And if you've done your work on the front end, identifying what do you need to identify? The avatar right there, okay? You identify the avatar, you share the process, you are going to be super successful. Okay, let me see. Question from Melissa. Do you give them the process on the webinar or just say that you have one? Oh, no. This is what you're going to teach them, all right? Teach them how you went through the process. you don't need to get into the weeds. For example, if 10% of your presentation is you, I kind of got away from this, but if this is 1 hour, all of this stuff down here is content. And I'm putting this all caps because this is why people show up for your webinars right here. Okay, this is all content. So this process and what life was like before and the adversity and your big break and the results, all of that stuff, I would say right here, this is for Melissa and everybody else. All of this is the most important part of your presentation. This is the meat. This is the content that you're going to share with them. And that process is absolutely. So for example, when I train people about podcasting, I don't spend a lot of time on album art, which is this guy right here I'm pointing to. I don't spend a lot of time on how to create the title. I don't spend a lot of time on hardly any of the tech stuff at all. You know what I spend my time on? Have any of you, I'm sure there's people on here that have seen my presentation on stage, because I know a lot of people get up on my list from there. I share with you the process of how I launched the podcast and why I did it. Now everybody wants to know, well, how did you make money and how do you drive clients? Well, I'll get to that, but I can't. Here's what you can't share it all in an hour-long presentation. So that's why at the end you have this something here. Okay, gonna keep going to that slide. Keep going to this slide. Keep showing this 100K slide because I got to get back the pages here. That's why you have this thing called the sale. You have this thing called the sale because you can't fill in all of the gaps here of the process, the results, okay, and all of that. You're sharing a powerful story with them that they can see themselves. Who's the most important person in the story that you're sharing? It's not you, okay? It is them. They're the most important character in this story. So when you make it about them and you talk about the process, you're always injecting them into your story as well. Okay, because if it's I, people are going to jump off the webinar. If it's you, so when you do this, you're going to find it's the whole feel, felt, found thing. Okay, and what the feel, felt, found thing looks like is I know how you feel. Others have felt the same way. What they found was going through this process, and that's the feel, felt, found method. So you're putting them in the story, yet you are sharing your process. Does that make sense to Melissa? And I think we had a couple other questions as well. Cool, got it. All right, Melissa's starting to get it. All right, cool, sweet. Know how and what to do because I just started a new business. I really do want to find anything else. Feeling drained. Okay, Winifred, I will definitely. I can help you. Okay, definitely. All right. So your big break came. So getting back to, for example, my podcast story, my big break came when I got asked to speak, and I had, literally hardly any money in my bank account anymore. And within a week, because I got paid a 25 grand keynote and sold 150 grand of coaching, I had 175 grand in my bank account. And I literally probably had 15 bucks in there before I went and spoke. That was my big break. How did it happen? From somebody finding my podcast on iTunes. That's why I still podcast. That was my big break. What's your big break? How did your big break come about? Okay. Where did your big break happen in here? And big break does not need to be monetarily. Okay. So don't think it's got to be monetary. Your big break could be something completely different. And it doesn't even need, in fact, if it doesn't involve money, even better, because a lot of people, resonate with passion and purpose and everything else that goes into that. Okay. So where did your big break happen? This needs to go into your presentation as well. And then what are the results that yielded as of when that break happened in your story? What were the results? Okay. So getting back to myself, my big break happened. Okay. And then the results I got was the big payday, and then getting more speaking gigs, and all of that was a result. And now I was able to be financially way more secure than I ever was. And FREE. I was free. I'd never been free. I'd been working since I had a paper out, 13 years old. I'd always worked for someone else. And I was carrying this scarcity mindset with me and this employee mindset with me all the time, that I always had to work for somebody else. And I always exchanged hours for dollars, and I felt guilty if I wasn't working. So I actually worked. Anybody find themselves working more sometimes when you're working for yourself? Those of you that are working for yourself, because somehow you feel guilty that you're not working enough, and I got to put in more hours. And if I put in more hours, then I won't feel guilty and I'll probably make more money if I, you don't need, that's the enemy. That's the enemy. The enemy shows up in your life. The only thing the enemy can do is lie. And the enemy is that inner voice that creeps into your mind when you're feeling self-doubt. Come on in. And it says, are you sure you're good enough? Shouldn't you be working a little bit harder? What'd you do? What'd you do today? Did you go for a run? Did you go to the gym? Did you go for an extra lunch? Did you spend time with your wife or your husband or your kids? Shouldn't you be working more? You feel good. The enemy tries to rule you with guilt when you're here to provide value, guys. This entire PowerPoint presentation that you're putting together and sharing this webinar is strictly out of value. You're creating this webinar one time so you can share it over and over and over again for months and years to come without having to really change much of it. Once you get the core of it together, your winning message, what it's like before you made the decision, adversity, the process, your big break and the results, all of that, once you get this down, very little of it gets changed. I use the same PowerPoint presentation on stage to sell my podcast training that I used in 2009, except I switch out the statistics for podcasting, like how many people download from iTunes now. That's the only difference. The rest of it is exactly the same. Why? Because you don't change a winning message. My story hasn't changed. I had another daughter since 2009. Yeah, but that's one more slide in my presentation. So once you get this core winning message together, this storytelling brand, then you're off to the races. You can't be stopped. You have created literally an ATM machine that's going to pay you. All you need now is to drive traffic to the webinar. That's all you need now. And that's been made super simple now with Facebook ads. Okay, driving traffic to webinars through Facebook ads. That's now, everything's become easier. The only thing that has not changed is people's mindset to where they're leaving this employee mindset behind and moving into the entrepreneurial mindset and not feeling guilty for exchanging hours for dollars and creating one valuable piece of content that can be used over and over and over again. But if you don't know how to create a message and you don't know how to tell a story, you can't have a quality webinar. That's what you really need to work on. Okay. And then prior to your opportunity for them to do business with you, you share testimonials of others who have realized success from your system. Guys, this word here, write this down. There's a couple words you really need to understand. One is process. Sell the process, okay? And next is system. And you could even put the word, if you want, you can put the word method. People buy systems and methods, okay? This is what they buy. Why do they buy systems and methods? Because they want to be able to plug their own widget into it, their story, their product. If they want a system, that's why franchises are so expensive. That's why people pay $1 million for a McDonald's, is because they're buying the system. They don't have to cook a burger. They don't have to learn how to cook the burger. They want something that's already been done, proven. So all they need to do is bring their own message into it and they'll be successful. System and method, guys, use that in your marketing, okay? Because if only you can do it, then it's not scalable. You're the only one that can do it. If everything is built around you and your own intellectual property, then I need to be you to be able to do it. If it's a method or a system that you've created, oh, well, that's great. Now that's what I do when I coach people. We bring them into the Everyday is Saturday system. And all we want to know is we got to dive in on that first 90-minute project kickoff call. We just want to know, tell us your story. And Samantha and I sit back and we just take notes. And then I work with the client one-on-one over the next 90 days and we bring it all to the marketplace and launch. That's the system and the method, because it's worked for hundreds of people. You need to develop that same mentality, develop a system and a method for people, okay? And so at the end, you need to leave time. If 10% of your time is spent on you at the beginning, I'm going to say 15% is spent giving them an opportunity to do business with you. Now, some people get a little, freaked out about this when it comes to selling on a webinar. This should be natural. There should be no selling that happens. And what I mean by that is, if you've delivered great content, then you should be transitioning into the phase where, how would you like to take this to the next level? How would you like to learn more? Would you be interested in learning how to do this better and faster so you don't have to go do it on your own? For example, let me go back to the podcast again, okay? My podcast training I sell for $1,000 from stage, and it's worth every penny. It's 4 live webinars with me talking about how to create your podcast, market it, get it on iTunes, downloads, monetize it, all of that. Okay. Now, could you Google how to start a podcast? Of course you could. Of course you could. You could get out there and get on YouTube, and there's videos all over the place on how to launch your own podcast. But how many people do you think would do that on their own and see it all the way through to the end versus being held accountable by a coach once a week, every week for 4 weeks to make sure that that show gets launched and it gets launched the right way, not the wrong way? Because if you do it the wrong way, you're going to be kicking yourself. And so that's why you give people an opportunity to do business with you, because if they do it your way, using your method and your system that they learned on the webinar, then they're going to have more success, and they're going to have it what? They're going to have it faster. That's what people want. They're buying that you've already developed the method in the system. Now, here's the thing. If you don't have a method or a system right now, don't freak out. That's not a big deal, okay? I want you to start thinking in terms of this. I didn't say you had to have it done today, but if you leave this webinar thinking, I need to be a great storyteller with a winning message and have a system, then you're 99% of the way there. The rest of it's just tech. It's just getting the webinar online. That's all it is. So let me stop again. Does this make sense so far? 50 minutes now into the training. Is this starting to make sense? Okay. Yes. Got it. John, Donna, Jesse, Vin, thank you. Okay. Cool. All right. Now, let me do this. All right. Nanette, thank you. That's the framework. I want to share with you the framework of this, okay? But I also want to share a little bit of the tech stuff. You've got a webinar, and I'm using GoToWebinar right now. So let me get back up here on, like I said, we had about 70 people. Like I said, I was right on the board. Okay, this is the webinar that I set up for everybody today. Okay, yes, Kathy, all caps. Yes. So guys, it doesn't matter if you got 770 or 700. Like I said, I did this kind of last minute. We might have 80 registered. We might have 100. I have no idea. But anyway, inside GoToWebinar, I use GoToWebinar, and I like GoToWebinar because, I don't know, maybe I'm a creature of habit. It's just easy for me to use. You can share your PowerPoint easily. They've added some cool things, meaning GoToWebinar records your webinars now when you're done. So remember, a lot of people want the replay. I've already gotten 7 emails. I'm looking at my phone, keeps lighting up from people that couldn't make this webinar, and they want the replay. Okay, so we'll give them the replay, which is great. I understand life happens. They can't make it on the call, okay? So these are all the webinars I've done lately, okay? And this motivation, momentum, and money, you may have been on it. It was just a few days ago, okay? You can share this. You can send a link to somebody, and you can just copy that link right there. Literally, that's all I did. Copy the replay link from GoToWebinar, paste it in your browser, and you can send this link, and they're going to have to register for it. Just here. Again, they're going to have to register to view the replay. And this is what it looks like. So they're going to be sent to this page. Now, for me, I probably didn't start for, I don't know, probably a good 8 to 10 minutes. It's still just dead air here. See what I mean? There's nothing there. I started it up and then I walked away. So if somebody doesn't want to view a dead 8 to 12 minutes, you should start your webinars. You should launch them about 15 minutes prior to the start date, because you want to make sure everything's working okay. All right. So what I do is I go into a piece of software called ScreenFlow. It's about $100 or so. You don't need to buy this. I'm just sharing with you what I do. And so remember, GoToWebinar. Let me go back here. And I'm just getting into the tech stuff, guys. I just want to show you and give you options that how you can share the replay with people. GoToWebinar has a built-in replay platform that you can just send the link. You can also download. This is the motivation, momentum, and money one I did a couple days ago. You can just download the webinar to your computer and then take that down where you can bring it into iMovie, or if you work on Windows, they have their own movie maker. Whatever movie editing software you use, you can do this. I just happen to have ScreenFlow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my downloads, and I'm going to find that motivation, momentum, and money, and I'm going to bring it into ScreenFlow, okay? And I'm just going to pretty up the webinar. I'm just going to edit it so all of that dead space at the beginning is gone, okay? And you'll see in just a second. So if you use iMovie, if you use Windows Movie Maker, whatever it is, you can do this exact same thing. But what I'm going to do is take all this dead space. See, there's nothing here for 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing. And then finally, everyone, it's Sam Crowley. Welcome to today's webinar. It's great to have you here. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. Okay, so this is the webinar, okay? So look familiar, some of the slides, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right before the webinar starts, and I work in this a lot, so I'm just going to show you how I just go here, and then I'm going to edit it out. I'm just taking out all the dead stuff at the beginning. So now it starts just like that, right from the beginning, okay? And at the very end, I'm going to go to the end where I sign off, and I'm going to do that with this webinar too, okay? And I'm just going to edit it and cut it right from the end too. So where does it end? Right here, right there, boom. And I'm just going to mark it in, edit, delete it. Okay, now this is ready to export, and I'm just going to export this. So when I export this, I'm going to save this as July Webby, for example. I'm not going to save it because I've already have. I'm going to export this. It's going to take about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to head over to YouTube, and I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. See that? I just uploaded it earlier. That's why you see it here. So now I've got the YouTube link. So I've got the link that I can share, copy it. I can send this to anybody. I can post it on my social media. I can put it in emails. When somebody sees it, they're going to post that in their browser, and they're going to be able to view the replay video on YouTube. Okay? See that? And then another place I'm going to go is I'm going to go to Facebook. I'm going to get on there inside my group. If you guys aren't a member, you need to be, because I'm in there every day sharing a lot of great things. There's my free group, Sam Crowley's Every Day is Saturday group of doers, dreamers, doers, entrepreneurs. And I already see this right here. There it is. Motivation, momentum, and money. This is not a YouTube link. This is an actual Facebook upload video. And I'm also going to go over to my Every Day is Saturday fan page. And all I'm doing, guys, is I'm just putting this replay every possible place I can put it for people to get plugged in and watch it. And I've already uploaded it to the Facebook page too. Okay? There it is right there. Motivation, momentum, money. All right. So let me stop. That's a little bit of the replay tech. Wow, that was easy. Is it done for any YouTube? Yep, super simple. Oh, that's the way it's done. I tried to share a webinar yesterday, but when I sent it with populated my info, did not know how to send it without my info. That's how you send it. What does it cost to use GoToWebinar? I'm guessing $80 a month, maybe $70 a month, somewhere in there. Zoom, now here's another platform I use. So you don't need to use GoToWebinar. I use Zoom a lot too. You can check out the features here. I don't know, Zoom for meetings is different, I think, for webinars. I think they're enterprise, $19.99, buy now, Zoom for education. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Zoom. I use this feature here. Like, this is my Zoom account, $14.99 a month. But for me, it's mainly to host podcasts and small interactive training, okay? Zoom webinars, now you got me curious. Hold on one second. Zoom webinars. Yeah, I'm guessing it's the same. Video webinar right here. You can get the prices right here. So go to zoom.us. I know they got webinar function, okay? Sam, when I do a Facebook Live video, what's a quick way to save the video so I can put it onto YouTube? Well, saving a Facebook Live video, I take it they don't let you download those. If not, I've got ScreenFlow. So what I would do is I would start recording. I would go up here and record my screen, and I would record the actual video playing off my screen. But there's got to be a better way to do it. I think when you're done with the Facebook Live, I believe it asks you if you want to download it, right? I think that I get that option when I'm done on my phone. So I think right when you're done, it gives you that option. Okay. He finally found a response point. Yeah, check it out, John. Okay. So let me pop back on. And those of you that have attended so far, I want to show you, this is going to serve twofold. It's going to show you how I monetize my webinars, and I'm also want to give you an opportunity to work with me one-on-one as well. Okay, so let me just show you both of these, and pay attention to the slides. Even if you're not interested right now, if it's not a good time for you, just pay attention, because this is going to be how yours looks. Okay, but this is me speaking to you. What if you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt you will succeed? Would you take massive action? And you really need to be certain of the result before you move forward. Like, you need to be convinced, guys, that you will be successful. You don't do a webinar, you really don't do anything unless you think you're going to be good at it. You don't do it to be bad at it. So let me tell you, when you finally get rocking and rolling with these and doing webinars on your own time, you're going to be amazing. You know why? Because you're authentic. Everybody that follows the Everyday Saturday message, and I know the people on my list and the people that follow, you're good people. You're authentic. You got a big heart. You're going to be successful. You just got to get out of your head, or you're dead. Get out of your head or you're dead. How would your life change if you were generating six figures a year doing these and doing what you love? How big of an impact would you want to make on the world? Your life can change in the next 30 days. And it starts with finding your purpose. And I would say it starts with finding that message that we've been talking about. You know what I mean? Like, what is this story that you're finally ready to share with the world? I want to share this video with you. These are a couple of guys I've worked with in the past, Ira and Corey, really super successful online marketers.
Hi there, this is Corey and this is Ira here. Hi there. We're the founders of Mojo Video Marketing, and I wanted to do a quick shout out to our man, Sam Crowley. And we work with some of the top marketers on the planet. In fact, they're a lot of our clients. And the information and the tactics that I learned from Sam actually took our business to a whole new level, because now we run the Video Marketing Expert Series. We are rapidly becoming the ultimate subject matter experts in video. And a lot of it's through a lot of the stuff that we learned from Sam. And it's really helped us bring in more revenue and bring in more clients, right, Ira?
Absolutely. And we got to spend 3 days with Sam a few months back down in Florida at a mastermind group. And we got to really get inside his head, learned a tremendous amount of content. And this guy is truly one of the top, if not the very best in his space. Matter of fact, he owns his space. So here it is. Without Sam, working with Sam, your chance of being successful are here. With Sam, they're here. Without Sam, here. With Sam, they're here. You got the picture, so you be the judge, right, Corey?
That's right. So whatever it is, make sure you engage and work with Sam on a really intimate level, because he will definitely help you out. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll talk soon. Adios.
Bye now.
More revenue, more clients, more freedom. They got a really great brand. But that's entrepreneurs. That's what I do. Help them get more revenue, more clients, and more freedom. So think what it's costing you not having a movement designed around what your real passion and your purpose is. Okay? You have a choice, and it's now time to make your voice heard. You're on the computer, you're watching this training, you've seen the client stories, you've seen my own story, you've seen how webinars works, and you know now that using a proven system like Everyday is Saturday is the best way to launch a movement and never retire. People ask me, hey, when's your retirement? I'm not retiring. Why would I ever want to retire? I love what I do. I'm not in a job. So, and I would, until you get to the point where you never want to retire, you truly aren't living the Everyday is Saturday lifestyle. There is no such thing as retiring from what you love. Okay. How many of you know that you're going to need just a little help with this? Okay. I want you to plug into the Everyday is Saturday system and let us help you create your own movement better and faster than you could do on your own. No technical skills required. We'll take care of that. We'll narrow down your niche, your message, and provide the direction you need to create massive momentum using webinars, using your message, launching your landing page, your sales funnel, all of that stuff. All right. There's my project manager, Sam Kaplan. We have a rule. You got to have fun. Okay. And what we'd like to do, there's Sam on the right, There to me on the left, that's us hosting our weekly Facebook Live training for our group as well. What I want you to do, if you want to work together, there's an application process, and it involves answering just a few simple questions. And it's going to, and I know we have questions here as well, so I'm going to stay on this as long as you need me to stay on this to answer all of your questions, okay? If you go to samcrowleycoaching.com, you're going to see at the bottom a button here that says apply now. And I want you to hit that button and just answer a few questions so we can determine if right now is the best fit for you to launch your message and work with us, okay? That's what I want you to do from this webinar here. Go to samcrowleycoaching.com, answer a couple of questions, and find out if it's a good time and a good fit right now for us to work together and get your message out. I will tell you that the best time to launch a business would have been 5 years ago online and to get your message out. The next best time is right now, okay? So take action. Let me answer a couple of these questions as well. Just a heads up, Zoom has problems with Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, a lot of places do though. I mean, I don't know if Zoom is, Zoom might have a few more. I've also had some issues in the past with GoToWebinar. It's always kind of like, they figure it out though, because they have too many customers not to figure it out. You have to have Zoom or something like that to record it. Yeah, you got to have some platform that will record it, Marlene. So you got to have something like, you know what though, what I used to do is I used to use ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow is a one-time, let me get here. Let me just go back, go to Google. You need something screen recording software, okay? That's gonna record your screen, okay? So you can choose any of these. See all these that you can pick from? There might be even some that are free. This one here, TechSmith, I think they create ScreenFlow. Oh, Camtasia, that's what it, Camtasia, I think also records for Mac. So you can do this. Here's where I'm going with this, Marlene, because as long as you can record your screen, you can use any webinar platform. You could use a free webinar platform if you can just get the screen recorded. So Camtasia is one. I'm at techsmith.com. That's one I've used in the past, Camtasia. You can actually write in here, screen recording software Mac. Gives you the best ones. TechSmith is going to come up again, and it's going to be exclusively for Mac there. They have Mac and Windows. ScreenFlow is the one I use, which is only for Mac. And check it out. Yeah, so record your screen. I used to just use ScreenFlow to record my screen, and then I would use a, whatever kind of webinar platform, okay? Great questions. Guys, I'm going to stay on as long as you need me to answer these questions for you. Okay, I also want to make sure I show you the bonus download page, the top 10 deathbed regrets. You can pick that up, the 2-hour audio. Go to edisbonus.com, EDIS as in every day is Saturday. Go to edisbonus.com, pick up your, as promised, you stayed till the end, free audio, okay? And what I'm looking for and what I'm hoping for that comes from this webinar is that you got what you wanted. You came here and you are now excited about doing webinars. Let me just ask that question. Was this webinar helpful? And if you say no, it's no. But if you say yes, that's great. I want to make sure that you found what you were looking for, at least enough knowledge to get rocking and rolling with webinars here, okay? Yes, I will, Linda. Great question. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Thank you. Can you share the 100K breakdown? Okay, Jesse's going to kill me on this thing until I actually bring it up. Here you go. So I was on Linda, yes, I'll answer your question. Okay. I was on a webinar Saturday, the motivation one. I just started doing this number. And I said, okay, everybody thinks 100 grand gross is a lot of money. And I don't want to poo-poo it. It is, okay? Look, a lot of people don't make that much money. But when you think about it, it's $8,000 a month. It's $4,000 every 2 weeks. It's $2,000 a week. It's $1,000 before Wednesday and $1,000 before Sunday. Okay? So when you start breaking it down, it's $333 a day, $166.50 before noon, $166 after noon. Okay? But here's the real key that a lot of people seem to miss, and that is if an employee who works for somebody else gets paid $100,000, the government's going to take their share, which is, let's just say 30%. So the employee is going to net 70K before they, contribute to, they get pay their health insurance and all that stuff. The entrepreneur is going to get paid 100 grand. They're going to take their share first, and then the government's going to get what's left over. This is legal. This isn't illegal. This is just how our tax system works here in the U.S. So there's a big, big difference between being an entrepreneur making 100 grand and being an employee grinding, exchanging hours for dollars, making 100 grand. And the technology thing is all figure outable. We spent 10 minutes on the tech part today. The part where you really are going to need to figure it out is crafting that winning message. That's what I want to help you with. Gaining 100% clarity on what you do, removing that back pain, selling the solution, and then serving them. These are only the 3 things you ever need to do for, let me even separate these. Okay. This right here, if you don't get this straight, you're never going to be successful online, anywhere, just anywhere, okay, in business. So you need that. That is before you ever get going. But once you get going, you identify the pain, you sell the solution, and you overserve them. You serve the crap out of them. You want to make them feel like kings and queens. Like, it's so hard to find a customer. Keep them, love them up, and hold them accountable, okay? But serve them. So these 5 components, guys, you need to really, really, really get this. Because if you get this, the rest is just, the technology is all figure outable. That's the fun stuff, okay? All right, so let me, Winifred, if you wanted to, that's why I said stick around to the end, go to samcrowleycoaching.com. Answer a few questions and we'll work together, okay? And help you figure out what that winning message is, okay? All right, Linda, how to monetize a podcast, a webinar, everything, okay? You need to have something to sell if you're going to monetize. So there needs to be something to be consumed from the end user. So for example, when you're looking at podcasting, this is what I do, okay? I sell high-end coaching between $5,000 to $100,000. So what I do is on my podcast, I have a call to action. You need to have a call to action, all right? Let me just put that down here as well, okay? Go back here. I'm just gonna hit here. Bear with me, guys. I'm still clicking around all over the place, okay? Let me get it down here and keep typing, okay? Call to action. What is your call to action going to be? So this could be from your webinar. It could be from your podcast. It could be from a Facebook Live. It could be from Instagram. I didn't even talk about Instagram. Instagram is one of my biggest revenue drivers too, because I have people direct message me on there. Instagram, whatever it is. There's got to be a call to action. What is that? Is that to email you? Is that to go to a landing page where they can put in their name and email address? Okay, name and email address. Is it, could be a number of different things, but there has to be a call to action to get the process started. To move them, you want to move them from prospect to client. Okay, so how you move them from prospect to client is all about this call to action right here. That's how you do it. So when you have a podcast, I get, forget what I get. I mean, just say if you were to get 1,000 people that download your podcast, those 1,000 people every time should be having some sort of call to action to get in touch with you. Even if you're just telling them to literally email you for a free 30-minute consult. Okay. To show them how, and there's no obligation, just how can you help them? So if you, and then all it becomes is a math equation, okay? If you have 10 people email you, how many of those become clients? And if your program is $1,000, and let's say this number up here is 5, well, there you're making $5,000 a month for every 10 people to email you. So the real question is, how many downloads of a podcast, or how many views of a Facebook video, or how many visits to your page does it take for people to email you? It just becomes what people have is they don't have a money problem. You have a math problem. That's all it is. And it's not any more complicated than that. It's simply getting people exposed to your message, getting them to listen to your message, and then getting them to take action. That's all it is. All this is just one big math equation. Even everything we shared up here. This is just one big math equation to make 100 grand a year. That's all. So how do you monetize webinars and podcasts? It's you get people to them and you do these 5 components with the winning message, the clarity. All of this needs to be done. I can't overemphasize this enough. And then it's just a matter of having what's your call to action, Linda? Do you have a product for, well, so if I have a free podcast to sell a live webinar, would that work? No, I would have a free podcast not to sell a live webinar. Webinar is free. I would have the free podcast for them to engage with you and send them to some sort of a landing page where they can opt in, okay? So have them go to, well, let me just give you my website right here. But imagine this is a landing page to be notified when the next time you have, or to get a free, just get them to give them, you have to have some sort of ethical bribe in order for them to put their name and email in, okay? So you send them from your podcast to your ethical bribe, all right? Or get them to email you, either one, okay? So I can record a podcast on my iPhone. I'll get back to you, Linda. Let me know if that makes sense. You can't, I would not recommend selling anything on a podcast. I would recommend capturing that person's information from the podcast, driving them to either email you or to go to a landing page, ideally building out the landing page so you can accept the name and email and give them a free audio, video, or ebook. There's only 3 things you can give people. It's going to be audio. This is digitally speaking, audio, video, or written. That's it. Give them one of those 3 that solves part of the pain point associated with what you're talking about. What's your podcast about, Linda? I know, let me just see here. I know this is about webinars, but I have a podcast question. So I can't record a podcast on my iPhone and upload it to wherever I want it to. Oh yeah, you can record on your iPhone. I've done it. What you need to do, what I do, I don't know what anybody else does, but when I record on my iPhone, I save it and I save it to Dropbox. And then when I get back to my computer, I upload it from Dropbox and I do all the editing from my computer. So yeah, I record audios all the time on my smartphone. I just don't launch it from there because I need to edit it first, put the intro music in, the extra music, things like that. Let's see here. New business and really do not want to, okay. Yeah. Yeah, then even more so, Linda, that's sending them to a landing page. Just get their name and email. All right. And on the free giveaway, you can describe how to create a vision board. Simple, so somebody can follow along. Just people are worried about giving away stuff. Give away everything. Just give it away. I mean, a lot of people get caught up in, well, I don't want to give something away because, I don't want to give that book away because it took me a long time to write that book. Yeah, but nobody cares. Okay, that's your emotional investment in it, and your finance. Nobody cares. They don't care how long it took you to write it. They don't care how much you paid to write it. They just want the information. Give it to them, because the lifetime value of a customer is way more than the value of a book. Like, your lifetime value of one customer could be $50,000 when they're done coaching with you and buying your products and things like that. If you treat them right, why would you care about what it costs to get them? It doesn't. The cost to attract customers shouldn't matter relative to what time you've invested in the product. Okay, so give away books, audios, videos, whatever it is. And the beauty of it is it's a sunk cost. So once you've created that content once, you can give it away over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So you just keep giving it away, the same content, for 5 years if you want to. All righty. People still on. We haven't really lost many people from the training. Any more questions? I'm going to take a sip of water here. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. Any other questions? Anything I can help you with relative to webinars at this point? Anything regarding marketing, anything like that? Once again, if you'd like to apply to work together, would love to help you build out your own movement and coach you and hold you accountable and really take away all of these myths about, how hard it is to launch an online business. Look, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but I also think if you have somebody that's actually done it and done it well and can teach it in pretty simple terms, it'd be a good idea to connect. So if you'd like to reserve your time and schedule a 30-minute power call, just go to samcrowleycoaching.com, and I would love to do that. What if you have a bunch of possible things you could build a business on but need to narrow or focus? Well, that's a great question. That's actually a really good question. So Lisa says, what if you have a bunch of possible things you could build a business? Well, what's available, right? What's got the biggest opportunity right now? The window's widest with the least amount of resistance moving forward. That's what I would do. So something that the opportunity is greatest right now, where if you were teaching, I don't even know why this came to my mind, but Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's the rage, for the last year or so. That's got a big opportunity. If I had a lot of knowledge about that, I would throw up a landing page, a podcast, and start rocking and rolling. My buddy Joel Comm didn't know anything about Bitcoin at all a year ago, and he launched, it's called the the crappy crypto podcast or something like that. The bad crypto podcast. And he's got 5 million downloads on iTunes. I just talked to him about a month ago. So the window of opportunity was right there because everybody was talking. What's everybody talking about right now, Lisa? And does it align with something that you want to do and talk about? Just do that. Something with a big opportunity, the biggest opportunity with the least barrier to resistance right now. Yeah, go ahead, Winifred. Go ahead and fill it out. And at the very least, you'll have a lot more clarity after your phone call than you have right now about where to move forward, and some really good ideas too. Any questions, guys, about webinars? Anything that we covered today? Internet marketing, online marketing, anything along those lines before we wrap up the show? And I'm going to, I'll send out the replay as well. I'm going to upload it to our Facebook group. So make sure you're inside our Facebook group. And I'll most likely send the replay out as well. But the replay probably won't go out till later tonight or tomorrow. All right, well, that's a wrap. I want to thank everybody for attending. Make sure you take advantage of your free download, okay? Avoid the top 10 deathbed regrets, okay? And I've really enjoyed spending this time with you today. We'll have to do this again sometime real soon, as I really enjoy teaching and I love inspiring. It's really what I love to do. And thank God I found something I was halfway good at, or else my mom died in 97, but boy, I think she was so worried that I would just be bagging groceries at a grocery store the rest of my life. So thank God I found something I like to do, and pretty good at it, I think. So I guess that's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You're welcome, Kathy. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. We'll see you around. Have the best day ever. And look, don't be a stranger. Let me know how I can help you, okay? Take care, everyone.